I'm just saying. I curse. It's one of the first things I started doing when I left home. And when I had returned home and I and my mom were having a conversation, I was sprinkling my knowledge of my curse words around. And she says, "Why do you always have to curse?" And she was really upset. But I was more upset than she was because I couldn't understand why words could make such a difference. But all of the crap happening around us didn't seem to bother her as much. Black Panthers being murdered, young girls in our church being sexually abused by relatives, people in our community hungry and homeless, even in the 70s. And I said, "Mom, why do my words bother you so much when the values and morals that you and Daddy taught me, I am living in my life. I am serving. I am working. I am doing all of the things that you told me that a respectable good woman would do. Why doesn't that count for something? Why is cursing so important? They're just words, Mom. I'm just saying." And I'm just saying to you, why do words matter when the actions behind them don't? Some of the words that we use to pretend that we don't see the injustice and the wrong that is happening around us are words like democracy. Democracy means absolutely nothing because it does not include all people, not only in America, but in countries around the world. The word democracy was penned, or I assume made up, to give people a sense of community. But community has nothing to do with the word, folks. Community has something to do with how we treat each other. I don't like the word democracy anymore because I don't see it happening in America. In Guatemala, journalists are being arrested as I speak. A democratic country. I wonder if America is going to continue to send dollars over there. But how could they not? Because we're a democratic country and we're doing so wrong to the people that live within the borders of America. Christianity, that word really makes my blood boil. I was raised in the Southern Baptist Church. The Southern Baptist Convention is currently under investigation by DOJ for buried years of sexual abuse in the church, the Catholic Church. Tell me a church that we have not found where wrongdoing is being uncovered. So Christianity, do you know how many Christians left their churches and went to lynches? Do you know how many Christians sit in front of their TVs right now while unarmed black people and immigrants are chased down, herded like animals? In fact, most Christians treat their animals better than they treat people. Christianity, the same people that say they want the right to choose for women and babies to be born, but once those babies suck their first breath of air, especially if they're babies of color or the other, they want nothing to do to them. Do you know how many children are in foster homes or in foster care? And those same Christians don't care about them? Don't get me wrong. All Christians are not hollow and all Christians are not phonies. But you know what? Those standing on the side and saying nothing are part and they're complicit. Capitalism. Oh, that's a good one. That's the one that keeps most of us working people in bondage. That's the one that's the pie in the sky dream that if you work and invest your money, at the end of the day, you might have enough not to have to eat dog food. Capitalism was coined for people at the top. It was coined so they could get the most and pay the least taxes. Capitalism is a word. Folks, it is not an action that is working for the most of us. Let me see. Environmental. Environmental is a word, but we care nothing about the environment. Yes, you and I might recycle a can or two, throw the paper in the right bucket and take it so it might not end up in the landfill. But the environment is being destroyed daily by corporations and companies that put trash upon trash into it. And when we don't have enough trash on the land, we're putting it on barges and sending it into the ocean. Do you know how many floating islands of garbage that there is floating around the world because we have nowhere to put our trash? That's because of capitalism, because we've allowed corporations to package stuff that they know won't dissolve because it might cost a couple of more pennies. Environmental racism. That's a word, and that word does have power. That's a word that you probably don't hear often, but I remember hearing it in the 70s. And I was in Richmond, California, and I remember black activists talking about why are they bringing their trash and their garbage? Why? Because poor people live while they were dumping it. Do you think that Beverly Hills and the gated communities and the communities that you're not allowed in, most of us could not even afford a home in, would allow a waste dump, a trash dump to be put in their neighborhood? No. Why? Because they have power. That word is a word that has action behind it. Because you know, people that have power also have money that you have been tricked into believing that you might have one day too. So you follow the rules and you listen to the words. You believe the words of democracy. You believe the words patriotism. You believe the words Christians. Stop listening to the words and look at the actions. The actions speak so much louder than the words. If we don't stop listening to words, to the faith leaders that talk to us, to the politicians that line their pockets and leave the most of us behind, to the corporations that say that they're giving us a good product when anyone over the age of 15 can see that everything that they have bought and eaten have gotten worse. The quality is bad. The packaging is smaller. All of those based on capitalism. Folks, it is time that you demand that when people say words, that there's action behind them. I've been hearing people try to pretend that words, especially curse words, are inappropriate. What's inappropriate is using the right language with the wrong, rotten, low-down motives. It has to stop. Stop listening and stop following people that are just mouthing words. Watch what they do and then decide if what they're saying is something that you want to support. I'm just saying.